You think attraction is a lottery ticket? Either you get lucky or you don't. But deep down, you know that's not the truth. You've seen men with average looks and average bank accounts walk into a room and shift the temperature. You've felt a woman's eyes stick to a man who wasn't even trying. What you witnessed wasn't luck, it was architecture. And that's exactly what we're building today. 3 seduction pillars that turn you into the kind of man women feel before they fully see. When these pillars lock into place, you stop chasing attention and start bending attention toward you. If what you're hearing already tugs at something you've always suspected about yourself, stay with me until the end. Because once this clicks, you'll never walk into a room or into a conversation the same way again. You're going to learn how to generate a pull that feels mysterious but grounded, assertive but unforced, desired yet unattached. You'll learn how to become the event, not the attendee. These aren't tricks or gimmicks. They're psychological levers that change your baseline. Your posture in the world, your voice, your tolerance for silence, your standards with everyone, not just women. The effect on your dating life is a byproduct. The first pillar builds the interior frame that cannot be shaken by a look, a delay, or a test. The second pillar creates social gravity, how you occupy space, calibrate conversation, and create an upward draft people want to stand in. The third pillar generates erotic polarity and tension, a slow burn signal that says you're comfortable with desire without being consumed by it. If this starts rearranging how you see yourself, drop your thoughts below. I read every single one. Let's carve the first pillar into you. Command, not aggression. Command, the internal authority that makes your presence coherent and your boundaries audible without raising your voice. Command starts before you speak. It's in your breathing pattern and your stillness. Most men leak anxiety through micro movements, fidgeting, over-nodding, scanning, rushing words to avoid silence. You're going to reverse that. Breathe low and quiet into your belly. Let the breath fall out on the exhale instead of pushing it. When you speak, finish your sentence on an exhale and let the last word land with a slight downward inflection. This anchors your statements. Now stretch the space between stimulus and response. Give yourself a 2-second buffer after she finishes talking. Own the pause. A man who isn't terrified of silence communicates, "I am not negotiating with my value." Your eyes do half the talking. Keep your eyelids just a touch heavier than usual, enough to soften without looking tired. The gaze itself is steady and warm, not predatory. When she speaks, hold contact, then break slowly and deliberately to the side, as if you're considering the shape of the idea, then back to her eyes. That rhythm is composed and unneedy. Pair it with a micro smile that is more in the eyes than the mouth. You're telling her nervous system, "I see you. I'm not rushing to earn you." If you struggle with darting eyes, set an anchor behind her, an art frame, a light fixture. So your micro breaks look intentional rather than evasive. Command requires standards. Write down 3 non-negotiables you will not compromise in dating. Behaviors you will not reward. Energy you will not entertain. Maybe it's chronic lateness without apology, disrespect towards service staff, or constant phone use on a first meetup. You don't call these out aggressively. You simply refuse to remain where your standards are ignored. You will find that just deciding your standards changes your aura. Women sense the difference between a man who hopes to be chosen and a man who knows he will choose. That certainty is felt long before it's spoken. Detach your dopamine from instant validation. This is where most men fail. They check their phone 10 times an hour, they respond in seconds, and they confuse speed with interest. Speed reads as need. Replace instant response with consistent, grounded response. You're not playing games, you're living at a tempo set by your mission. When a text arrives, you respond when it fits your rhythm, not your anxiety. If she takes 8 hours, you don't take 8 minutes to punish her. You maintain your natural cadence. Your timing is tied to your priorities, not hers or anyone else's. That's command. Posture is a broadcast. Let your shoulder blades slide slightly back and down, as if they were heavy coins in your back pockets. Your sternum lifts by a few degrees, enough to open your chest without puffing up. Drop your weight through your feet and lengthen your neck subtly upward. Imagine a line from the crown of your head to the floor. This posture is how your biology says, "I am safe, you are safe with me." You're not a peacock, you're a pillar. Your voice is a tool. Speak about 10–15% slower than you do with friends. Let your consonants finish. End declaratives decisively. Don't fill the air with, like, or nervous laughter. You can practice by reading a paragraph out loud while pacing your breath. Train your voice at the end of the day when it's naturally lower. Your voice is the spine of your presence. Strengthen it, and the rest of your signals align. Set up the sovereignty ritual each morning. 3 minutes of stillness, 5 slow breaths in through the nose, out through the nose. List 3 victories from the last 24 hours, no matter how small. Then declare one standard you will carry into the day. I will not reward flakiness with more effort. You're coding your nervous system. That code is noticed. A woman doesn't fall for words, she falls for nervous systems. Yours either calms and excites in balance, or it buzzes and begs. Command calms and excites. Grooming is not vanity, it's respect for your instrument. Keep your nails clean and trimmed, your shoes polished, your scent subtle and consistent. Choose a fragrance that sits close to the skin and becomes a private discovery at proximity, not a room announcement. Wear fabrics that invite touch, soft knits, suede, textured weaves. Fit is king. If it drapes cleanly and frames your shoulders and waist, it reads as care, not peacocking. One signature accessory, a leather cuff, a minimal ring, a watch with history, becomes a talking node without you trying. Command expresses itself in the way you say no. I'm not available that day, but I'm free Thursday at 7. Join for a quick espresso and a walk. There's no essay, no apology, no passive aggression. It's a clear alternative or nothing. If she cancels without consideration, you say, no worries, let's reconnect when your schedule's calmer. Then you disappear. No lectures, no emotional invoices. You gave the frame, you removed yourself when respect didn't meet the standard. Paradoxically, this is what often reactivates interest, because you demonstrated a spine without spite. Now let's build the second pillar, social gravity. This is how you convert rooms into terrain you conduct. Gravity isn't noise or clowning. It's the quiet certainty that radiates when you assume the role of host, even when you're a guest. The host checks in with the environment. On arrival, greet the staff before you greet the crowd. Learn a name or two. Nod to the DJ, the bartender, the manager, the barista. A man who acknowledges the people who make a space run broadcasts warmth and power simultaneously. He is noticed by women without needing to be the center of attention. Your scanning pattern tells everyone who you are. Stand, take in the room from left to right, top to bottom, in a slow sweep, as if you were appreciating architecture. When your eyes pass over someone's gaze, let yours rest a beat and gift a tiny head tilt. A micro salute that says, I see you, I'm good. This puts you in generous mode instead of hungry mode. Hungry mode is narrow and darting. Generous mode is panoramic and patient. People step toward generosity. Conversations are built, not found. Use a statement to open instead of a question. This lighting makes everyone 2 degrees more interesting. Pause, smile, then ask a calibration question. Do you like it brighter or moodier? You start with a crafted observation that hooks and reveals your taste, then you invite hers. When she answers, don't jump in to approve. Instead, qualify her answer. Moody lighting tells me you prefer nuance over obviousness. She feels seen because you translated her preference into a trait. That's gravity. You decode, not just ask. Control the rhythm by alternating between voice and silence, between leaning in and leaning back. Aim for a 60-40 split where she speaks 60% and you speak 40%, but your 40% is nutrient-dense. Bold statements, sharp contrasts, specific sensory words. When you describe something, show that you actually live in your senses. Don't say, I like coffee. Say, I like espresso that bites on the first sip and softens as it cools. Your language is proof of life. It's evidence that you're plugged in, not performing a role you learned by watching other men online. Use the label and loop technique. She shares something. She's into architecture, hiking, or rare teas. You label the deeper trait, so you're drawn to structures that hold weight and to rituals that reward patience. Then you loop back to her experience with a challenge. What's one place in this city that gives you both at once? You are leading her to think, to feel, to reveal. This isn't interrogation, it's curation. You're curating a shared mental landscape where you two can play. Gravity requires selective disclosure. You don't dump your life story in one go. You use sliding doors. Open a door a few inches, let her peer in, then move on and let curiosity breathe. My week split between building something I'll still be proud of in 10 years and getting lost on purpose every Sunday afternoon. She'll ask what you're building and how you get lost. You smile and say, "We'll get there." You're not withholding to manipulate. You're pacing to create savor. Women don't remember everything you say. They remember the way your timing makes them lean in, become a connector, introduce people even before you've fully met them. You two both collect experiences, not just things. Emma, meet Marco. Watch how the room shifts when you are the source of collisions. The man who connects becomes a node of value. Women are drawn to nodes. Keep score? Never. Do it because it's how you move. Gravity grows when you add value with no visible invoice. Standing in a group, position yourself so you can see entrances and exits without craning. Keep your feet planted roughly shoulder width, one foot slightly forward, hips open to the room. Gestures are measured, palms visible, movements from the shoulders when you emphasize, from the wrists when you invite. Never point fingers like darts. Use the whole hand to include. These micro-signals matter. They signal leader who listens instead of boy trying to impress. When you laugh, let it resonate. Not too loud, not stifled. Laughter is a flag. It tells people where to gather. The best humor is self-amused, not self-deprecating. A light tease works when it's specific and warm. Careful, you're giving away how disciplined you are. That's a tease because discipline isn't usually framed as dangerous, and yet you made it flirtatious. The wrong way is to poke at vulnerabilities. Real gravity never climbs by stepping on toes. Your wardrobe and grooming integrate with gravity. Choose a palette that simplifies decision-making. Deep neutrals, textured blacks, charcoal, olive, cream. Add one unexpected element, a Henley under a blazer, a suede Chelsea with raw denim, a knit polo under a leather jacket. You're signaling taste and comfort, not trend chasing. Wear your clothes. Don't let them wear you. The moment you start adjusting your outfit more than your environment, you just told everyone your clothes are in command, not you. Let's build the third pillar, erotic polarity and tension. This is where calm desire lives, where you hold space for spark without urgency or apology. Polarity begins with permission. You grant yourself the right to enjoy beauty without turning beauty into a drug. When you see a woman who captivates you, name the experience to yourself precisely. I'm attracted, that's all. Not, I need this now. You don't tether your worth to the outcome, you tether your attention to the moment. That alone changes your vibe. Approach with an observation that carries flavor. You have a stillness that cuts through this room. Or, that color is breaking the weather's rules. These are not pickup lines, they are calibrated reflections. Deliver them slowly, with a slight smile that reaches the eyes. If you feel your heart rate spike, breathe once before you speak. Your calm is the first seduction. Keep it short, then let it breathe. Watch her reaction without needing to fill the silence. If she engages, you deepen. If she gives a polite thank you and turns, you don't hover. You pivot or exit cleanly. Tension respects no. In conversation, seed subtle future pacing. We'll argue about this over 3 bites of something dangerous, or when you prove me wrong, I'll owe you a gelato. It's an assumptive frame without cornering. It plants a possibility and lets it breathe. Follow through by leading with specifics. Thursday at 7. Espresso at the corner cafe, then a short walk by the river. I'm in and out in an hour. The time-bound frame signals standards. It says your life has structure. She is stepping into your rhythm, not dissolving into your availability. On dates, move. Static dinners trap you into interview mode. Movement creates shared experience and microdoses of novelty that keep dopamine engaged. Walk, stand, sit, change vantage points, shift environments. 2 venues trump 1. A quick coffee followed by a bookstore browse. A small wine bar followed by a street stroll. This flow creates an arc. Tension needs an arc. You design the arc. Touch exists on a spectrum, and you advance only in response to mutual cues, never because you feel entitled. You start with social touch, brief, friendly, entirely non-sexual, like guiding her gently through a doorway with the back of your hand hovering, not pressing. You calibrate to her reactions. Does she lean in, mirror, initiate touch? If she warms, your proximity shrinks, and your voice softens. The most attractive men never rush here. They savor the space before the first kiss. The triangle gaze, eyes, lips, eyes, held with a soft pause communicates intent without demand. If she meets you there, proximity handles the rest. If she doesn't, you smile. You lean back. You keep enjoying the moment without pressure. The release of need is what makes the moment safe and thrilling. Compliment like a connoisseur. Avoid the obvious. Skip "you're beautiful." Instead, notice something effortful or rare. You're precise with your words. Most people aren't. You keep your promises to yourself. I can see it. Your laugh is unguarded. That's rare. Specificity shows attention. Rarity shows taste. The right compliment plants an anchor that lives in her mind long after you part. Texting after a date is short and energy-aligned. I liked how your curiosity makes silence comfortable. That's it. No essay, no over-negotiation of plans. You've already led in person. Now you give space for anticipation to ferment. If she replies with enthusiasm, you escalate logistics briefly and clearly. If she's light or slow, you maintain your cadence. You never punish with pettiness. You maintain your standard by not fighting for minimal effort. Understand the psychology under tension. Attraction is built on controlled uncertainty, not chaos, not games. Controlled uncertainty means she cannot place you instantly into a category. You're clear but not needy, warm but not fawning, present but not pushy. Your consistency is stable. Your edges are intriguing. That balance, safety with spark, lights up the reward centers that crave novelty without threat. You embody novelty that doesn't ask her to abandon herself. That's irresistible. You also set boundaries around intimacy. You're not racing to outcomes. You prefer depth over speed. You let moments breathe. You stay willing to end the night earlier than expected if the vibe asks for slowness. That self-command intensifies desire. It says, "I'm not starving, I'm selecting." Women can sense the difference between a man who is hungry for a woman and a man who is hungry for a connection worthy of him. The second one pulls. Now, let's lace tactics through these pillars so you can apply them immediately. Start with the entry ritual. Before you step into any social environment, stop outside the door, breath in for 4, hold for 2, out for 6, hold for 2, 3 cycles. Roll your shoulders back once. Decide the first 5 minutes of your behavior. Greet staff, scan slowly, choose a location with a vantage point, anchor your stance, make one observational statement to the room at large. This place always smells like cinnamon and secrets. And then begin your first conversation with a statement, not a question. You've just set your state. You don't show up reactive and desperate to be placed. Use the challenge sandwich. When she shares a surface-level answer, you respond with warm mirroring, "I hear your love for efficiency." A light challenge. That tells me you prefer control to curiosity. Prove me wrong. And then an invitation. What's the last time you surrendered to an unexpected plan? This nudges her to reveal without feeling interrogated. You're playful, not prosecutorial. Apply the 3 beats in your storytelling. Even though we avoid fictional stories, you will occasionally share a real insight or preference. Keep it sensory, brief, and structured. Set the scene in 1 sentence, insert the tension in 1 sentence, deliver the takeaway in 1 sentence. For example, I started waking at sunrise, not because it's virtuous, but because the city is quieter and coffee tastes like it remembers something. The tension is, I love the night, so it forced me to choose. The takeaway is, I choose mornings. My brain is hungrier for building than for noise. Done. No rambling. Your life has a backbone. Practice the slow blink. When she says something that intrigues you, hold her eyes, blink slowly once, micro-smile, then speak. That micro-sequence communicates savor. It says you actually heard her. Most men pounce. You absorb. The nervous system reads absorption as status. Adopt the 2 close rule. End interactions before they die. If you're in a brief conversation that's plateaued, you say, "I'm grabbing water, you keep corrupting this corner." Or, "I'm making my rounds. Don't get too interesting without me." You leave on warmth, not on awkwardness. Then, if you cross paths again, you reopen with a deeper thread from earlier. This builds a layered vibe across the night and avoids clinging. Run the quarter turn test with your body. If you're speaking to a woman and she turns her body a quarter toward you, you mirror slowly. If she doesn't, you keep your orientation easy and open to the room. This respects space and reads as attuned. Attunement is inherently seductive because it communicates skill and safety simultaneously. Adopt the 48-hour invitation window. If numbers are exchanged or interest is clear, you invite within 2 days. Why? Fresh momentum. You propose something simple with a start and an end. Tuesday, 7:30. The tiny place with the blue door. In and out in an hour. That last line is gold because it removes the fear of getting stuck. You are a man who values time and can end an evening cleanly. That makes the yes easier. Train your voice with downbeats. End statements on a downbeat. Your pitch gently falls at the end of the sentence. Practice by reading any paragraph and marking your period with a downward arrow you can feel in your throat. That end of sentence gravity makes your words feel finished and your energy feel contained. Upward inflections at the end of every sentence sound like you're seeking approval. You're not. Use sensory bridges on dates. If a moment dips, bridge with a sense. What are you picking up in this wine besides the obvious? Or, listen, do you hear how the street hum changed? Or, feel this, linen that's been washed 100 times. Sensory bridges pull both of you into presence and out of stale talk. Presence is where polarity lives. Hold the no-sell frame. When she expresses doubt about you, the plan, the vibe, you don't chase or convince. You clarify once, then you release. Totally fair. We can keep it simple or call it a night. Either way, I'm good. The man who can walk away is the man who can be wanted without pressure. Practice velvet disagreement. Agreement isn't seductive. Respect is. If she says something you don't align with, smile. I get why you see it that way. I'm wired differently. I prefer the friction of building to the comfort of inheriting. You didn't attack. You revealed a core preference with vivid language. Polarity depends on difference. You are not trying to match her. You are trying to be complementary. Build small rituals that become your signature. Maybe it's the way you toast, always with eye contact and a soft to momentum. Maybe it's how you choose seats, always with a view of the room and a corner for her to feel tucked in. Maybe it's the way you always step to the side to let her pass through a doorway first, not with theatricality, but with ease. These micro-rituals become the fabric of your allure because they are consistent behaviors that express your values without speeches. Cultivate the no-rush logic. Desire without rush is intoxicating. You cut conversations that are good at their peak instead of squeezing them dry. I'm leaving on a high note. You end dates at a point where both of you wonder about the next chapter. You exit venues before you plateau. That patience communicates abundance. Scarcity makes men cling. Abundance makes men choose. Guard your mission. Women are drawn to men who are oriented towards something larger than dating. That isn't a poster on your wall, it's daily behavior. Set 3 focus blocks a week where your phone is off, your work is deep, and your output is measurable. Do your training with intensity. Lift heavy, finish with sprints or carries that make your lungs earn your dinner. Keep one practice that grows your power to be with discomfort. Cold exposure, long walks in the rain, standing stretches that burn. A man who trains discomfort is magnetic because intensity doesn't scare him. He doesn't leak need. Honor your friendships with men who live by standards. Your circle calibrates your baseline. If your friends are reactive, gossip-driven, and flaky, your nervous system learns that cadence. If your friends move with direction and wit, generosity and edge, you entrain to that. Curate your circle intentionally. Host a monthly dinner where each man brings one idea he's testing, not a badge he's earned. You become the node again. Nodes attract. At some point, she will test. Human beings test what they value. Maybe she teases, goes slightly cold, or pushes a boundary. Your job is to respond with warmth and backbone. If she throws a light jab, smile. It'll take sharper steel than that. If she withdraws, you mirror the energy without bitterness and give space. If she pushes a boundary, you name it simply, that doesn't work for me. No anger, no lecture, calm consequence. That combination of kindness and clarity is rare and extremely attractive. If you've stayed with me this far, your mind is already pulling these pillars together. You feel the difference between performance and presence, between tricks and architecture. You won't need 100 hacks when your base is engineered correctly. Command alters your baseline state. Gravity shapes how rooms treat you. Polarity sets a slow, undeniable current between you and the women you choose to engage. Put them together and you become dangerously attractive. Not because you try harder, but because you move cleaner. From here, give yourself a 7-day protocol to install this. Day 1. Write your 3 dating non-negotiables, your morning sovereignty ritual, and your 2 evening wind-down practices that keep your nervous system smooth. Day 2. Voice training and posture. Record yourself reading, adjust for downbeats, practice breathing through pauses. Day 3. Environment training. Enter a cafe or lounge, greet staff, scan slow, make one observation to a stranger, exit on a high note. Day 4. Conversation drills. Statement openers, label and loop, challenge sandwich with a friend or co-worker. Day 5. Wardrobe edit. Remove what doesn't fit cleanly, add 1 textured piece and 1 signature accessory. Choose a scent that stays close. Day 6. Date architecture. Choose 2 venues, map a 75-minute flow, write 2 assumptive lines you will deliver with warmth, not edge. Day 7. Review and refine. What felt forced, what felt fluid, what micro-behaviors you'll keep. Iteration is power. If this protocol helps you, tell me what shifted for you below. I read every message because growth is a conversation. Remember, your job is not to manufacture reactions, it's to refine transmissions. Your transmission is who you are when nothing goes your way, when texts lag, when conversations stall, when she's undecided. The men women remember are the ones who stay fundamentally the same across the weather. That sameness isn't boring, it's anchoring. From that anchor you flirt, you challenge, you invite, you lead. But you never beg your value to be recognized. You let your value shape the room, sentence by sentence, glance by glance. You will be tempted to overcomplicate. Don't. Attraction obeys simple laws enacted with devotion. Breathe low, speak on the exhale. Hold eye contact like a man with time. Choose standards that make you proud. Offer your taste like a gift, not a test. Invite specifically and withdraw cleanly when respect is missing. Move through space like you're on good terms with your future. Keep your curiosity sharper than your hunger. Let your humor be self-amused, never cruel. Let your touch be calibrated to yes, not to entitlement. This is the blueprint you've been searching for without knowing. The difference between a man who hopes and a man who is sought after is 1 week of disciplined practice and 1 decision. Your worth is not under negotiation. She can join your rhythm or not. In that freedom, you become radiant. Women feel it. Men respect it. Doors open because you stopped trying to squeeze through windows. If this reframed something real inside you, stay close. We're just getting started. Share this with a brother who needs it today. Don't keep it to yourself. And if you want more like this, subscribe now. The pillars are in your hands. The next move is yours.